She just logged out and she was trying to get back in. So let me introduce her. Batul is actually an old friend of mine as well, and she's the creative director and founder of Ravenclaw Advertising Agency. Her work has been shortlisted for Cannes Lion International Festival of Creativity in France in 2010. She was also featured in the top 15 ads in the world by Times of India, and she's also a recipient of Entrepreneur of the Year 2020 by Gardicle Quotes, and she's very young as well. So much achievement at a young age. Batul, thank you so much, first of all, for joining us today. And, I'm very excited to know about your journey and, how you came into design and about your entire journey, exactly. So take us through that.
Share. Really excited to share.
Okay, great. Okay, so take us through your journey. Tell us a bit about, when did this interest in design come in? How did you discover that, this is something that I want to do? And especially as Indian students, right? We have been trained in a very different kind of a mindset. So what happened and how did we go? What else?
Okay. And little did I know that, I was actually on a different career path, and, I figured out that, hey, this is something related to design. I didn't even know that I'm treading on that path. And that's what happens to most of us, that, we don't really know sometimes where we are going, where we are heading towards. And I'm one of the victims of who didn't really know where she's heading towards. But then, wow, I was in the design, the whole world where design was magic.
Right.
I did my graduation in electronic media. We have some great colleges in Chennai to study design and industrial design and advertising. So I did my graduation in electronic media. And then I decided to do my post-graduation. I did it in mass communication, where advertising and marketing is one tiny little part in the course curriculum.
Right.
And I didn't even think that I want to do this, but then what happens is at that particular stage, the college is something which plays an important role, where they send you out on internships. They send you to explore, go do this, go do that, to just figure out what is it that you like. You can't really understand that what is it that excites me, what is it that I want to do. And that's when I realized I did an internship in an advertising agency. I've done journalism, I've done television production, I've done a lot of these things. I gambled between all these three different fields, and I figured out that design is something, because ideas just thrive me. It just makes me get excited. That if there's a great idea, I'm like, come on, let's work for it. And that's how I started my journey into design. And when I figured out, like, hey, maybe design is something for me, and yeah, I was sure that this is, at that point, I was sure that this is something that really excites me, and that's
Right.
for me.
Yeah. So it was a path where you tried multiple things and then figured out what you wanted to ultimately.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of designers, it is that, right? It's not like, you start with that one thing, okay, this is what I want to do, and then you just end up in that path. It is a path where it goes zigzag, where you try and figure out multiple, or maybe you would say multiple lines that reaches that one goal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But this whole field is so intertwined that everything is somewhere, it brings you down to one, like even now in advertising and designing, marketing that we are in, somewhere television production comes in, somewhere photography comes in, somewhere industrial design comes in, somewhere fashion designing comes in, when you do shoots, and all these things are so weaved in very well together, that at this point I feel like what an enormous experience that I got in my past, that all these things are coming to use at this point. So
Right.
yeah.
So it's like a multidisciplinary sort of a thing.
Yes.
Though you are in a field of communication design, but you still have to utilize your fashion design sense and collaborate with many people as well.
Collaborate. Yes. Collaboration is the key word these days, and I think that is the future of communication. That is the future of new ideas, where you collaborate with different kinds of people.
Right.
to figure out, find solution. What does an engineer think of an idea? What does a doctor think of it? What does a communication artist thinks of? How do we solve problems? And I
Right.
think it's very important to know from each one's perspective, how do you solve a communication problem?
Right.
So yeah, that's
Right. So, so when you started off, like, do you think there is a difference in the way design has been perceived from the time that you started your education in design or your career in design to now?
oh
What
my god.
is the difference that you see?
Oh my god, oh my god. It has changed. It has just evolved.
Yeah.
I am told, I mean, what we learned and what we are doing right now is different. Okay,
Right.
it's totally different. And when I started off, and when we call ourselves millennials, when we started off in advertising, our focus was only print media. We were only doing ads for newspapers. We were doing ads for magazines. We were doing hoardings.
Yes.
All that was the primary focus. And now, if you look at it, I mean, where are those print ads? The newspapers are like 4 or 5 pages now. Magazines have disappeared, and then you
Yeah.
have only digital magazines.
Hmm.
Hoardings are, of course, not even allowed to be there in the city.
Yeah.
So, how has this evolved? Is constant search to find a solution. Okay, now we are not doing print. What is the solution? How do you advertise this product on a different medium? Earlier on, what had happened is when we used to do print, when we used to do magazine ads, when we used to do hoardings, when we used to do viral ads, our secondary thought would be like, okay, we have to adapt it to digital medium as well,
Right.
right? We have like, okay, maybe the website should have these print ads, but now it's different. It's totally different. Now, think digital.
Correct.
We've become a part of this era that we can't think print, we can't think newspapers, we can't think anything. Any conservative medium of communication. We have to think digital. It
Right.
has become that, and that is the only future.
So, in that sense, in terms of creativity and in terms of the thought process, does it because there, like when it's newspaper hoarding, there is a limitation, right? There is a size element. There are these things that you have to take care of. Whereas on a digital platform, you can really, you can go out and crazy.
We can go totally berserk. We can go
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
There is no limitation. It's just that you have a limitation of time. That how do you grab that audience in those first 2 seconds?
Right. Right.
You can do enormous things. Your video ads, your video marketing campaigns, anything print. You put and what has happened is we all have become influencers. We all have become advertising professionals. We all have become marketers. The world has changed completely. That you don't really need to have an advertising agency per se, a big advertising agency to do campaigns for you.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it yourself. That's the power of the medium.
Right.
Once you learn that whole tactic, you are in control of what you need to do. So that is what is a big change, that we all have become marketers. Everybody in the world who's using the medium have become marketers.
Correct.
And how do you want to put the content out there, and how
Right.
interesting you want to do it.
Right. So last 1.5 years have been like quite a crazy period. So Batul, tell us, how has your area of design survived through the last 1.5 years, and communication design space itself in the last during the pandemic?
So last 1.5 years, although the world has become a crazier place to live in. Earlier it was just crazy, now it's just crazier. I feel that where we have really turned the table is by bringing in more digital solutions, more UI UX designs, more bringing in customers where we just completely change their thinking. Now, earlier on, people used to say, "Hey, can you do a print ad?" Now, customers say, "What can you do for us?" And that is when you have to tell them that these are the possibilities. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? It directly delves into the whole aspect of what is it that the customer wants.
Right.
And the whole the budgeting has come down so much. Earlier, print ads would be like for a smaller size, the small page, small size on the front page would be about 1 lakh.
Right.
That same 1 lakh can be your 1 week's marketing budget on social media.
Right.
So it has actually become more and more interesting, and we are loving it in the sense we are dealing with the immersive technology. We are dealing with the digital native, the people who are born in the 1990s. You know, and the techno. I mean, people only think technology. I mean, you're talking from what I have seen before and what is evolved now. Like half our lives has gone into print, and now we are seeing this digital revolution.
Right.
But the digital natives have completely only think technology, and it's become so easy for them. It's
Right.
completely easy.
Right.
And this is one of the most interesting thing that has happened in the last 1.5 years in the pandemic, that we have started to think differently.
Right.
For example, even a medium like this, like we are having a discussion right now, a person who would have thought of design would have thought of like, okay, maybe it's not an appropriate place to show where I am in. Let me include the design element where they can change backgrounds. That is design. That is thinking. How do you solve problems?
Right.
Whereas these are all these small things that has started to change the entire world all over. And you know, even the lighting. Okay, somewhere you feel the lighting is low. The camera, the like for example, Google Meet itself gives you an option. Do you want extra light? You know, you feel you're in a place where there is no light, so it gives you. It has become more smarter.
Yeah.
Basically, what has happened is the person who is doing the campaigns have to empathize with the customer.
Yeah.
Unless and until you empathize, unless and until you understand the customer's pain points, only then we'll be able to come up with effective solutions for them.
Correct.
And other than that, there is no other way. If you do not empathize with the client, you will never be able to come up with a cure. That's
Right.
it.
Right. So whether it is a communication designer or whether it is any stream of design, the core is always the customer or the user of the product or the communication.
Yes.
So are there any specialized skill set that one should have, like to say, for example, some of them over here are students who are trying to, pursue a career or education in design. So do you think there are any certain skill sets or an aptitude that you need to have to get into this field of, say, graphic design or communication design or television production, anything of that sort?
Okay. So I come from this school of thought where I believe, although you have a certain talent, I believe that you can learn anything. Okay, you don't really need to. Sometimes we don't even know we have the talent in us.
Right.
Okay, we call some people are called late bloomers.
Yeah.
They don't know until half their lives are kind of crossed, and they figure out, oh, I can actually sing.
Yeah.
Let me try singing.
Right.
So I feel that in this kind of a skill set, if you're asking me a skill set, the only skill set that one needs is to empathize.
Right.
That is the only thing that will actually go towards a person finding a solution.
So for the people who don't know what empathy means, Batul, could you just tell what that really means?
This is fun. So empathy. I mean, your customer comes crying to you saying that, you know what, we have exhausted the marketing budget last year and we do not have a budget as big as this year. We have only 50% allotted to you. Advertising agency A would say, sorry, we do not work for 50% less cost. Advertising B will say that, I don't know, how do you think of ideas which are 50, priced at 50% discount? And advertising C, agency C, would actually empathize and think, okay, you have 50% budget, fine, let's figure out what can we do. Let's figure out, okay, these are the options. You think we can work these things out? Let's think of these options through. Okay, you feel you don't have money for the next quarter, let's hold it, no problem, we'll see. Is there something else? So what happens with us is we start thinking more creatively. We start looking for solutions that can actually fit the client. It can fit the client's budget. It can fit. It's not just about budget, but the client should feel that, hey, she's thinking, he or she's
Thinking
thinking
about
for me. She's trying to find solutions for my problems, not just in my product or service that needs to be provided, but even the problems that I'm having in terms of budget, in terms of time, in terms of everything. So that is what we call empathy. And also,
so for someone, sorry to interrupt, but so I'm just trying to think like what say for example, a student is not very good with drawing, not very good, she doesn't have the skill set, or he doesn't have the skill set of drawing. Would they also be okay in considering a career in design, any field of design? Would that be something
of
that
course, see, I can't draw. That's for me. I can't draw, but I can think ideas.
right?
Okay. Also, people say that ideas are available for free.
Mhm.
Unless and until you find somebody to execute your idea, it's a waste. But you can always find a person who can illustrate if you have a great idea.
Yeah.
You do not necessarily need to draw like a Picasso or famous artists, right? Van Gogh. I mean, and everybody's got a style.
Yeah.
As long as in your head, what is the perspective that fits in?
Right.
Yes, it is very important that you know the basics.
Right.
You understand lighting techniques, you understand 3D, you understand depth. All this is important. Depth is important not just in drawing, but in terms of photography. Depth is important in everything. How do you show that this is a foreground and the other is a background? So basic knowledge is a mandatory that you know.
Yeah.
You may not be a master of this basic knowledge, but you should be aware of these things, that these are the things that you will tackle when you are actually into the world of doing things, into the world of working, when you are actually at the job.
Right.
So these are the things that it's very important to know. And I think in such particular aspect, a design school really adds in so much value, not just in showcasing one aspect in what the course has to offer, but in terms of other aspect. Like, you will have a friend in another department. There will be collaborations. There will be, it is just totally magical, I feel.
Exactly. That's the beauty of a college like Dot School of Design, because we are an interdisciplinary college. So we have communication design, we have textile design, we have fashion design. So there is an interdisciplinary learning that's happening over there. So cross learning, like just learning any courses from there. So which is like the real world scenario, right? Like when you're in a job, in a place, you're not just exclusively just talking to your team and not interacting with anyone else. So like you said, it's so important to be able to collaborate. Being a team player is just a great way of being a designer as well. So it's not just about drawing skills, but it's also about the team spirit and being able to collaborate with the right people, understanding the problem, empathizing, like you said. So I'm just summing that up. Okay. And so what do you think are the scope of, say, for example, someone does a course in graphic design or communication design? What is the scope in that field in career, career wise? Since you're also from Chennai, you understand the market here.
To be very honest, the days of big agencies have totally disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay. Now is the era where boutique agencies, entrepreneurs, people who think on their own and are able to execute. Like, I've seen so many people in the last one year who become one-man show. They do photography, they do designing, they do, they'll go find artists. They've become master collaborators basically. And it's not just about. I think Chennai is. I've worked in many places, but Chennai is something. It's very different in terms of you find all kinds of people. I feel in terms of collaboration, Chennai people are very open in that way. People think differently when compared to a Mumbai or a Bangalore. Bangalore is more possible, but Chennai, I think they're very honest and true in what they do.
Right.
I mean, when you think of options as a graphic designer in Chennai, I mean, you have traditions, you have culture. We have such strong aspects of Chennai itself. You have the beach. Um, there are so many things that inspire you in Chennai. I mean, that's what I feel that Chennai is really evolving
Right. Right.
at this moment, and the era of boutique agencies and individual collaborators, individual designers are more and more opening up. I mean, we have been collaborating with a lot of individuals from different schools, from different colleges, and it's different. And if we get a lot of ideas, we get a lot of we get inspired by them, and we
Right.
want to see what's going on in their head.
Right.
It's great. It's great.
So you think the market itself is open to anyone new who's coming in and trying to carve their niche over here?
If
It's
you have
not like a evolved market like a Mumbai or somewhere where the competition is
Yeah.
a lot more. I think Chennai is a lot.
Yes, you're right. You're right, Muzan. Competition is a lot more in those places. Chennai at this point needs great people,
Yeah.
needs design skills, and we need students who just come out and want to try something fresh, want to try something innovative. We are open to having such people with us, working with us, and ideate with us.
Right.
It's
Right.
magical. Yeah.
So it's just about finishing the course, and I think they will be out in the open. Okay. So if someone were to, look at maneuvering their career or to find a job, what would that process be? Say someone's completed communication design. How do you think they should go about, trying? Should they approach a agency, or how to go about doing that?
Even before something like that, like yeah, once you finish your course, yes, there are opportunities available. But while you're doing the course, I feel it's very important to work in organizations, in agencies, and advertising agencies, in any place which is more design centric. Since if design is a career option that they choose, and sometimes design comes in handy anywhere.
Correct.
I mean, look at brands like IKEA. Okay, brands like IKEA drive me nuts. I mean, it is so revolutionary. How can this one small bed suddenly turn into a double bed and suddenly have a storage space in between? And all this, I can do it on my own. That's the experience that's the experience. That is the kind of experience the brand gives you.
Right.
In terms of brands, so in terms of brands, we feel that we need to give them a great experience. And if somebody can get to work in IKEA, just imagine how the thinking
Right.
process would just be. I mean,
Right.
even if it's a junior post, even if you get to work for 1 week, convince them. Okay, I will be an intern. I will just sit in the corner and just watch you guys do work, and that's about it.
Right.
You would just go. You will learn so much in that 1 week.
Right.
Start interning with places. I mean, you don't really have to intern with a graphic designer. You don't really have to intern with the advertising agency, because design is everywhere.
Yeah.
All the things.
That's actually my next question. So
Yeah.
is like design a part of everyday life? How is it a part of everyday life?
I mean, this is great design. The touch and sensitivity.
Yeah.
It's not technology, but it's a great design. Somebody has thought of this. That they want to give it this shape. They want to make it sleeker so that they get less intimidated by those bulky black mouse.
Right.
You understand? That's what Apple has done.
Right.
They've made these things much sleeker, more design centric, more sophisticated. You feel good to work in an environment.
Right.
So things have evolved in that aspect per se.
Yeah.
So if in my opinion, I feel design is it's a gamble. If you get it right, it works for some, it doesn't work for some.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have noticed this famous Dyson vacuum cleaner that's coming now,
Yes.
right? What a great design!
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought of vacuum cleaner with batteries inside?
Yeah.
You would clean your house and maneuver everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know the robot cleaning, which
Yeah, the device that goes around. Yeah.
it is technology second, but somebody has thought of that as a design first.
Correct.
Right? They thought of it as a design, and then they have converted and brought in people.
So that's where the collaboration element comes in. You can get other people to help you with the technology aspect as long as you have your ideas clear there.
Ideas in place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what about higher education opportunities? Like, is it necessary for them to do a master's, or in what scenarios would a master or be necessary at all?
Okay. Once a master's is necessary. In my opinion, a master's would be necessary if you decided that if textile is the field that you want to be in, focus entirely on textile.
Mm-hmm.
Work with people. I mean, textile also, it's got varied folks in part of textile. Like, you have Indian, you have Western, everything.
Right.
And India, I mean, we feel that of course, India in terms of different cities, different fashion, different culture. So in terms of, if you know that this is what you want to do, I mean, it is an important aspect that when you do a master's, it gives you more clarity of thought. It gives you more perspective that, okay, this is something which I really want to do. It gives you more detail. You feel that you are able to understand the subject better.
Right.
And you get more confidence. That's important that you do a master's. And India has a lot of design colleges where you can get your master's, and it is the NIT or so many colleges that deals with masters itself. In the south also, of course, there might be few, but those few colleges offer very focused master's degree.
Right.
If you really want to pursue something in that.
Right.
So it is, according to me, it is very important, because for me, only after I did my master's, I figured out like, hey, I'm getting more perspective, I'm getting more clarity, and this is what I like, and this is what I'm able to think of and enjoy. And you move on.
Right.
See, of course, there are odds. Even after doing your master's, you feel that this is not for you.
Yeah.
Maybe something else is for you.
Yeah. But that will help you figure it out. That experience will give you
yes.
exposure and everything. And also specialization, right? You're like getting into a field slightly more in depth. Your UG would give you a more, a broader perspective of things, whereas a postgrad will give you a little more
focused. Yes.
Focused. So what about career opportunities around the globe for, communication designers?
Like I said earlier, that I look everything around me and it's only design.
Yeah.
It's just like, even from the box that you take your cream from is still design. How easy is to open. Just a second. How easy it is for you to scoop out the cream. How do you make that thing more easier for the customer to take the cream out?
Yeah.
The way you close, like if you see lipsticks, now they come with magnets. That is design.
Correct.
I just thought of it. I mean, it's design. The actually executing it is much later. So everything small, everything around us is design. A coffee mug with a great handle which helps you hold the mug more firmly is design. How do you think of it? You experiment. You see what is the size that your fingers need. What is the size that the gap that a mug needs? That is design.
Correct.
So it's everything around you is design. Even paper is design. The feel for artists to be able to give them a great experience to draw, to paint is design. The design of the paper itself, the handmade feel, the watercolor paper is design. Everything around you, in my opinion, is design first and then technology coming in later.
Right. So, in terms of, if someone completes their education over here and wants to explore opportunities abroad, I think even the bigger companies, the stalwarts that I hear these days, like Facebook, Google, all these companies have design as an integral part of their own space as well, right? Like it's that experience that you were talking about. It is also translated into such companies where they are considered to be the top companies of the world, and
Yes.
they have design as a very integral part of their a department that is dedicated completely to design. So yeah, go ahead,
What
Batul.
I
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
to add, one thing which I feel is very important is design is process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everything that needs to be done. Like if we are doing an ad for a client, we just don't open our softwares and
Start designing.
start make a artboard, fill it up with colors, and then put their products together. What
Right.
is the why are you doing this ad?
Yeah.
Needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
What is the communication objective of this ad? Does
Right.
it need to reach the kids? Is that my target audience? Let's keep the elements that will only attract, or which will attract kids, which is for kids. If not kids, okay, mommies. Mommies look things for kids.
Right.
Everything is with a purpose. There's
Correct.
nothing that you do in design is just, some people call themselves abstract artists, okay. But yeah, even if the abstract artist, some very good ones, they exactly know what they're doing.
Correct.
It is also in what we call it's process oriented designs. It has a reason why it's done. Nothing
Right.
is done to make the layout look great or colorful.
Right.
If
Right.
you're going to add that flower on that white dress, that flower adds value to that white dress.
Correct.
And that flower can't be everywhere on that.
Right. Right.
So it is very important that you think of design as process. And since it is process, it can be learned.
Right.
You don't have to be born with it. You don't
Right.
need to have the skills that you feel, oh, I can't draw, I can't do this. But the minute you feel that you want to do this, want to explore this opportunity, yes, you can. Anything is possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Batul, at this point, I'll just tell everyone, like, if they have any questions, they can add in, and we'll just have like a quick discussion till then, till the questions are being written over here. Okay. Okay. So what are the advantages of learning design in an interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary context?
Okay. I think we have Kishore here. Hi, Kishore.
You can write in your questions here, Kishore, and then we'll answer the questions.
Ma'am?
Okay. You can go ahead. Yeah, you can ask the questions if you have. Yeah.
Ma'am, just now I just joined a meeting, ma'am.
Okay, then just put yourself on mute, and if you have any questions, we can answer it in the chat.
Okay.
All
By
right.
the way, nice DP, Kishore.
Ma'am?
Nice DP you have.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So, guys, you can see that chat window on the side. You can go and please keep yourself on mute so that because with the session is being recorded. So I want Batul to be there as the main person here. So you could just write your questions here, and then we'll answer. So until then, yeah, Batul, go ahead. So multidisciplinary.
Yeah, so, I think I would have been very interested to join a college 15 years ago who's completely dedicated and devoted to designers, and I would have loved myself to be part of a college like that. I mean,
Yeah.
think of it, like you go here, you have. I mean, it's. I think it's very interesting. The energy itself is, you are with like-minded people.
Correct.
That's very important. That you are you interact with such people where your skill grows.
Mm-hmm.
When you are also exposed to questions, you are also exposed to ideas which are somewhere weaved with design oriented, like a textile or an industrial or a fashion or a graphic designer. I mean, imagine the kind of interesting conversations that they would have about design.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I would have loved myself to be part of a place which kind of gives me an opportunity to interact with all these kind of people.
Right.
We have
Yes, one question. What is the process behind building a brand?
okay, that's my favorite question.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, process behind it's a big process, okay? But to
Yeah.
start with it, what does your brand stand for? If I'm a brand which is making just somebody just give me an example. I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Toys. I can see a lot of toys here because my son.
Yeah, okay. So toys. So you are talking about you are a toy brand. Now you're talking about okay, so what kind of toys? Let's just filter down. Are you giving wooden toys? Are you giving
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, wooden toys.
63 wooden toys, yeah.
Okay. So there itself we have a subdivision as to this is my focused area. Now let's compare it with how many people who are there in this area, in this wooden toy segment. It could be Indian, it could be international, it could be anyone. Okay, make a list of them. Let's understand what are these guys doing. How are they addressing their target audience? Are they? Do you feel that they're able to address it to the target segment? Who's the target market? Is it the kids? No. But are these the mothers? Yes. So what are the things that you would do that would make a mother look at it?
Right.
Like,
Because
for
that's
example,
the person who's going to buy it.
Yes, exactly. So if you're going to be showing just a toy image and okay, wooden toys, eco-friendly, XYZ, yeah, I've seen this somewhere, big deal. Or you show a video of somebody, a kid who's chewing that wooden toy, he's like trying to nibble on it and chew it, and the mother is like, okay, enjoy, no problem. Right? That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
That's something which is interesting for me, where the audience like, hey, she's letting him eat the toy. Later you figure out, okay, it is non-toxic, it is eco-friendly, it has got these additional features, and that's how this is much better or more interesting than the toy ABC.
Right.
Or brand ABC.
Right.
So Pavitra, what we feel is the process is how different can you be in terms of your communication. You can't create technology now, but in terms of your communication, how different can you be to address the right target audience, to right target market? I hope I've answered the question. Yeah. Okay.
So, do we have any more questions, guys? About education, like if you need any more information about the courses that are available at DOT, you can go into our website. I can share the website here. That's the website, and you will get all the information there. Any queries or anything, you can always, that's our link, and you can go in and you can have counseling sessions, one-on-one counseling sessions over there as well, where people will help you out to address which field of design you would want to get into as well. And this is also a part of that series only, so that you get a peek into what it is to be a communication designer and what are the different things that you can do as a communication designer and the scope of that in this market. So I'll wait another minute or so, and then if we don't have any questions, maybe we can end the session. Thank you so much, Batul. I mean, I think it was very insightful to know, even from a business perspective. That's something that as designers we forget, that the maximum number of entrepreneurs are actually designers, because they have that capability of starting something on their own versus someone who's just done a certain skill set or just into technology. They still need the support of design to actually execute things. Yes. So that is definitely something. An interesting fact is that NID and IIM started the same year, the general assumption is IIMs have more entrepreneurs. It's actually NID that has a lot more entrepreneurs going on
Oh.
because they ultimately end up starting their own businesses and doing things on their own very early on. So thank you so much, Batul, for joining us for the session. And it was really amazing. I love your energy, always have. And thank you so much for being here and kickstarting the session for us. And please do join us for the next session.
Of course, I will.
Yeah, and ask questions. So so looking forward to it, and thank you so much for being here, Batul.
Thank you. Anytime, it's my pleasure. And thank you guys for hearing me out. And these are my 2 bits of what I feel, how design really enhances our experiences in every way, in terms of product, in terms of services, in terms of UI, UX design, in terms of digital like augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, in terms of every way. All these are experiences that design can create, and different ways of communication that can affect how an experience of a person should be. So that's
Right.
design. Yes,
right. Okay, not a design related question, or maybe it is. Can you answer why you have named your company the Ravenclaw?
Okay. So yeah, it's, I like to talk about that all the time. Thanks, Sarika.
Actually, I've never asked that. I want to know.
So basically, ravens are everywhere, and ravens are scavengers. They are, of course, you know, the Ravenclaw is one of the 4th chamber of Harry Potter. So, in general, ravens are supposed to be the curious, creative people. So, if you've heard of that story, of course, as kids, where there's a pot of water and there's little water in this, and the raven comes and adds pebble. That's idea, right? So, how did he make that? That story has become the thirsty crow.
Correct.
So basically, they are the most creative people to come up with ideas which are simple to execute. You know, and I think in general, it's hard to think simple. It's very hard to think simple.
Correct.
Yeah, because we need simple solutions. Sometimes we just go over the top and we find for big solution, bigger answers. But the solution is very simple. So, and that's why we call ourselves the Ravenclaw, because we are curious, we are creative, we are scavengers, and we can make do with anything that's there in our plate. And we can create magic with whatever is there around us. Yes.
That's very interesting. Oh, I didn't know there was this. I didn't know there was a thirsty crow angle to this, actually.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Thank you so much, Batul, once again for joining. And I'm hoping to meet you maybe in person soon. Right?
Hopefully, I'm waiting to come to see the Dot School of Design.
Yes.
So many pictures, and it looks so interesting. I want to just come and probably work.
In fact, you can drop in. Like, we are open, and like there will be someone at the campus to take you around. We are more than happy to take people around our campus and show the infrastructure. And you're most welcome at any point. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. See you next weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.